UX designers and everyone in our professional community, and sorry for being without sound, as sometimes happens. So welcome to today's deep dive in the award-winning solution, 7.1 Interaction Ecosystem. My name is Akil Rudolph. I'm the Director of UX Design Awards and Head of Strategy at International Design Center Berlin, in short, IDZ. We are the awards organizers. In our regular events, we invite award-winning designers and teams to present their work and share their knowledge with our UX Design Awards community. So you can join us twice a month for deep dives with professionals and companies, and talent tracks for up-and-coming UX designers. So just stay tuned, connect on LinkedIn, social media, or subscribe to our YouTube channel or newsletter. You can find all the recordings and links also on our website, so have a look. So if you're watching now live on LinkedIn, just please bring your questions to the post, post them to the chat, and we'll bring them into the Q&A right after the presentation. And if you're on Zoom, you can post right away in the chat or just raise your hand when the Q&A starts. So I'd like to welcome today's speakers. It's Nicholas Qyll, Creative Lead, UX Design, and Florian Gampert, who is the expert on design systems, and they are both at 7.1 Entertainment Group. Sorry. They will walk us through their project, 7.1 Interaction Design Ecosystem, the winner of the UX Design Award product in 2022. It's a system that allows editors to influence the course and content of a live TV show and involve users and viewers in real time. And the jury was particularly impressed how the system unifies the pre-editing and real-time shaping of the media experience in one central hub. And the application, how it focuses on the ease of use, both for producers, editors, and viewers alike, and offering an elegant interface, all combined. And the system was developed, according to the jury, with consideration to different contexts and platforms. And it represents a true innovation in the field because it's building bridges between linear TV and true interaction. So with this, Nicholas and Florian, it's wonderful to have you here with us. I'd like to give the screen to you and take it away from here with your presentation.
Thank you very much, Ake and team, for the invitation. We are very glad to be here. My name is Nicholas Qyll. I am the creative lead on the Join Me team at 7.1 Entertainment Group, and I'm speaking today together with Florian about the 7.1 Interaction Ecosystem on behalf of the entire experience design unit of the group. In this deep dive, we have prepared the following topics for you. First, Florian will tell you something about the company, the problem, and the ecosystem in general. After that, he will give you insights into the editorial system Dave. Then I will go into more detail about the viewer-oriented system component, the Journey app. After that, we will be happy to answer all your questions. And I hand over to Florian now.
Hey, I'm Florian. I'm also happy to work here, to be here, and it was super cool to work with Nicholas and the team on that project. And I'll start by giving you a rough overview and introducing you to our project here. Let's get started. First, I'll provide you some background insights in regards to 7.1 Entertainment. 7.1 Entertainment is like the owner of Germany's biggest TV channels and shows, and they keep millions of viewers entertained every day. These channels cater to multiple different target audiences and have millions of viewers across multiple different platforms, which makes this project here super interesting. The problem? TV ratings in Germany are steadily declining, and traditional TV broadcasters are struggling to compete with the rise of social media and streaming platforms. The internal ratings of TV companies are good, but the overall size of the market cake is getting smaller and smaller. So As a result, these broadcasters need to find new ways to increase audience participation and keep up with the changing landscape of media consumption. Now I will show you what we are bringing to the fight. Our solution was that we revamp the old static linear formats by creating a new form of interactive storytelling. By tailoring interactions on top of the classical TV shows or creating new shows based on the interactions, we transform viewers to users by combining traditional TV with the smartphone. The advantages of this approach are that the programs itself learn to evolve and become more engaging and pertinent. And at the same time, our users are more engaged with the shows as they have a direct impact on the content and become an essential part of the production. So by reaching this goal, 7.One not only wins the fight against other broadcasters by being more innovative, but we also offer an exciting second screen experience to the user. We are still in the progress, but we will be showcasing the advancements we've made today towards this transformation. First, I'll start with a sneak peek of the project vision presented by Björn. We'll have a short video for you. Björn was the driving force behind this project within the company, and he will provide you a nice overview before we go into the deeper details. Gotta check if you hear the sound, otherwise I'll have to reshare. So shout if you can't hear it.
Alle Broadcaster und Streaming-Dienstanbieter stehen vor einer großen Herausforderung. Wie können sie auf das veränderte Sehverhalten der User und Zuschauer reagieren und sie wieder stärker an den Content binden? Wir sind dieser Frage nochmal tiefer nachgegangen und haben herausgefunden, dass gerade das Thema Interaktion, also Interaktion im Content, ein sehr großes Bedürfnis bei den Nutzern und Zuschauern ist. Wir sind eine Stufe weitergegangen und haben uns gefragt, wie schaffen wir es, eine Verbindung zwischen Zuschauer und Format herzustellen, und sind dahinter gekommen, dass es eigentlich nicht eine Frage der Technologie ist, sondern eher eine Frage, wie schaffe ich die Verbindung zwischen Redaktion, Regisseur und Zuschauer. Und daraus ist die Technologie Dave entstanden. Das ist ein Interaktionsbaukasten, den wir entwickelt haben, speziell für Redaktionen, die es denen ganz einfach ermöglichen, Interaktionen rund um ihr Format, um ihre Sendung, um ihre Show an die Zuschauer und Nutzer auf einer App auszuspielen. Gehen wir doch mal konkret in ein Beispiel rein. In der Corona-Pandemie hat sich die Redaktion von Zerwachsen Obnövel gefragt, wissen die Leute eigentlich noch, welche Regeln gelten? Und daraus kam dann die Idee, hey, lass uns doch einfach mal die Zuschauer draußen fragen.
Kennen Sie die Regeln, die bei Ihnen gerade gelten? Stimmen Sie in der Pro7-App ab.
Und man hat ganz einfach über Dave die Frage angelegt, weißt du noch, welche Corona-Regeln in deiner Region gelten? Hat sie dann mit einem Klick per Push rausgespielt auf die App, mit einem Klick in die Sendung hineingeholt per Bauchbinde, und überraschenderweise 2/3 der Leute wussten gar nicht, welche Corona-Regeln noch gelten. Das Ergebnis war so spannend, dass man sie wieder mit nur einem Klick auf die große LED-Wand ins Studio reingeholt hat, und beide Moderatoren mit Gästen haben einfach dann dieses Thema, dieses Feedback der Nutzer draußen, was live über Dave reingekommen ist, aufgenommen und in der Sendung diskutiert. Das Besondere hier ist, ich als Zuschauer habe das Gefühl, hey, meine Stimme wird gehört. Ich habe abgestimmt, meine Stimme kommt ins Studio, die Moderatoren nehmen es auf, das Ergebnis wird auch von den Gästen im Studio diskutiert, und so habe ich natürlich das Gefühl, viel, viel näher dran zu sein. Mit dem Interaktionsbaukasten rund um Dave gibt es unendliche Möglichkeiten, fast jedes Format interaktiv zu machen. Da gibt es viele Beispiele. Germany's Next Topmodel, Wer stiehlt mir die Show, The Masked Singer, ja, wo ich nicht nur die Möglichkeit habe abzustimmen, sondern auch sogar während der Sendung meine Stimme nochmal zu ändern, weil ich vielleicht plötzlich eine andere Überzeugung bin. Das heißt, ich bin ganz live und ganz direkt am Geschehen dran. Ich kann Kommentare in eine Sendung schreiben. Ich kann mit Protagonisten aus einer Sendung ein Quiz spielen. Also die Möglichkeiten sind keine Grenzen gesetzt. Das Ziel ist einfach, so viel Impact wie möglich dem Zuschauer und dem Nutzer zu bieten, um am Ende das Gefühl zu haben, ich bin Teil von einer Show, von einer TV-Sendung von einem Nachrichtenformat und meine Stimme wird hier gehört. Ich glaube ganz fest daran, dass das die Zukunft eigentlich von TV ist.
Thank you, Björn. Now we'll continue. So, as you saw, the Seven.One Interaction Ecosystem consists of 3 parts. We have our backend Dave, which manages and creates interactions. We have the Join Me app, which is the second screen for the user and the TV experience itself, with various shows like Björn also mentioned, GNTM, Masked Singer, news, other stuff like Tough, Zervakis, and so on. With this ecosystem, we are aiming to build an easy-to-use experience for internal stakeholders who are responsible for the shows, but also for the end users themselves. In some shows and formats, we are already having over 1 million interactions, and that's per show, not overall. So it's live and it works. Trying to build this is quite hard, but also brave then, since we are not dealing with a tech company, but a rather super traditional TV company. Only one example for problems we are facing. Here we are in the studio and we want to get a survey on live TV, like you just saw in the video. So at first we got to check with the TV producers, and we have to check with license holders in some cases, not in this case. And then we have to get into the TV signal itself, which is broadcasted via satellite. To connect to that signal, you gotta get into a broadcast room, which is usually offline and not connected with the internet for security reasons. So to get our interactions live, we have to design a simple use system, but also we have to adhere to strict guidelines and have to be flexible enough for it to work in any show or context, because these shows all are different, all have different stakeholders, all have different stories to tell. And we are building or using our modular system of interactions to cater to the needs of the individual shows. So to make this interactive TV a reality, we have developed a flexible set of tools for the front end on one hand, and a system called Dave on the other hand, that manages the timing, approval, and composition of interactions. Dave is the backend behind all interactions and is super easy to use, which was quite important for us, since we are working with editors who not necessarily have too much of a digital background. So using this interface, editors can create new interactions using a VisiBig editor, choose different interaction types, set timings, and then craft their own story on top of a show. And just with a few clicks, these interactions can be live in the TV, in the app, or the TV studio. To facilitate interactions, it's crucial to keep the user experience as simple as possible. As I said, the content creators of television are not necessarily that tech savvy. They may not even have the time to navigate complex interfaces or to learn it. And Dave is responsible for 2 main tasks. On the one hand, creating interactions, and then on the other hand, to get them live. And through various iterations, we have found that a layout like a traditional Kanban board is the most effective way to manage and time interactions. This is quite interesting from a UX perspective, because users are already familiar with the style and it allows for flexibility. So that the process for a show can change. There are different approval processes required. So we can just do this by adding an additional column or allowing selected individuals to only activate the interactions and rights management and things like that. Managing interactions can be a complex task. Though they may appear simple at the first glance, there are so many intricate details that must be passed from the backend to the app. For example, when voting for candidates in the show, the candidates must be chosen, they have to be picked, and they can have different states throughout the show. So maybe they are out of the show, maybe they're still in there, or some special cases. Or take raffles as an example. They often have like legal restrictions. Some shows may only allow percentages when you show results, rather than exact numbers of votes that have been cast. And also, effective storytelling is super crucial in creating an engaging user experience. Rather than simply presenting a voting or a survey, we aim to craft a narrative around it. And to achieve this, it is important to, for example, incorporate pre- and post-interaction steps that have to be managed, or we can also create stories by combining multiple interactions, creating mini games, and things like that. For example, on the right-hand side, the detailed configuration takes place. We always try to focus important settings at the first glance and take more detailed settings that are not always necessary away from the user. But as you see, this interface here is still way too complex. I mean, there are lots of configurations options which are now hidden here on that screen, but that could be found if the user engages in that screen. And to simplify this process for the end user who might need to quickly start a survey during a live show, we've implemented a template system. In regards to this template system, interaction patterns and stories can be preset, and the initial editor here can open up individual fields for editing, as seen here on the right-hand side with the logs. So interactions can be preset, stories can be crafted, and then templates get generated out of these interactions. And now when we are in a fast-paced live show setting, ease and speed of interactions are key. To facilitate this, we've designed our user interface for these users to be as minimal as possible, and we are mimicking conversational flows. So the editor can quickly and seamlessly set up an interaction, such as a survey, by selecting from a predefined list of options, which is always specific to this show. And this editor now allows for efficient customization by allowing the user to edit only the fields enabled during the template creation. And this ensures that the focus is slowly on the important aspects that need to be configured while eliminating unnecessary steps. For effective design, it is essential for the editor to have a clear understanding of how the text will appear in the app. This includes considerations such as a text length and wording. And to facilitate this, we have implemented an emulated representation of the actual app user interface that you see on the right side. And this allows the editor to preview their design in context and make any necessary adjustments. Our interface allows the editor to easily set their desired answer options in a step-by-step process. And these specific steps may vary depending on the type of interaction being set up. For example, in this case of a live battle of candidates on a stage, the relevant candidates will be selected at this stage of the process. Once all required information has been input, the editor can easily create the interaction and make it live, ready for use. And the streamlined process behind it is so smooth and efficient, and that it also works for users that are not having that much of a technical background. So depending on the user type, the interface switches from the complex one that you saw earlier that you could theoretically use for interactions. But when you have to be in a fast-paced setting, you have users who are not too experienced, we engage in a conversational flow, like when you're taking a survey online or stuff like that. Now you have this board with all the interactions, and activating the interaction is now as simple as dragging it from prepared to live. And depending on the show, maybe you it's directly live in the app, or you have some extra steps in between, like confirmation. Do you really want to set it live? But this always depends on the context. Yeah, from here, we can now select specific interactions to be displayed in the studio or reveal results in the app directly from the board. And Dave not only provides the basic functionalities for creating and activating interactions, but we also have other advanced features such as an automation for moderating comments. We have detailed interaction statistics to optimize for or to check how different interactions perform for at various timeframes or for different shows, and optimize based on this behavior of the users. But also we have things like which I would never have imagined, like a result notarization, because for legal security when you're in a live show, and rollbacks if some mistakes happen and stuff like that. But anyway, these details will be kind of boring and also will take kind of long. So now I'll hand over to Nicholas, because he can demonstrate to you how these interactions are integrated into the shows and how the end user interface of the app works. Thank you.
Thank you, Florian, for explaining the ecosystem component Dave in detail. I will now give insights into the planning, implementation, and maintenance of the Join Me app, which allows viewers to interactively participate in their favorite shows and thus become active users within a new entertainment experience. Let's see the conception chart. The next one. Thank you. For the app development, we followed an agile digital product development process. In a large product workshop at the beginning of the project, we started with the value proposition of the product, which reads like this. The aim of the app is to establish TV format interactions and enable viewers to participate in new ways on TV. On the long run, these interactions, which evolved into essential parts of the TV shows, should act as drivers and anchors for live streams on a daily basis, hence user-generated live content. In the workshop then, we clustered the field of the target audience and defined essential personas. First, there are viewers who watch shows on ProSieben and any other channel, Sat.1 and so forth, on a regular basis. Second, there are the fans who never miss any episode of a TV show. Third, there are creators who are extroverted and have not achieved a large reach in social media so far. They discovered the live function of the app and use it. Fourth, the fourth persona is we have the explorers who have a wide range of interests from sports to music to gaming. They browse for new trends in the app. So in the meantime, we know through continuous user testing that these personas turn out to be more differentiated. Then the overall structure of the product was defined, as you can see on the bottom of the chart. And our usability engineer, Oliver Nibbe, developed wireframes on the right side, as you can see, that were the basis for us designers, in particular my colleague Bastian Rotdeutsch. So let's have a look on the interaction types that the Join Me app conveys. At 7.1, it's been clear to us for a long time, the desire of viewers is that they want to be closer to their favorite formats. The app now satisfies these needs through many interactions. The different interaction types are the heart of the ecosystem and link viewers to the TV shows more closely. Let's take a look at them in detail now. As you already can see, the video voting is a very popular interaction type. Users know it from social media already. The user can flip through any number of videos from top to bottom and can like the favorite video. The TV format GNTM, here in that case, models presented themselves in person so that viewers can decide which model is worthy of the Best Personality Award. The winner then was presented with the award by Heidi Klum in the final of the TV show. The next interaction type is the comment function, which allows fans to publish their own opinions about TV formats or any specific topics. It is the only form of interaction that also reveals the reactions of other fans or critics to users. It thus establishes an exchange within the fan community. In the politics show Zoll, Zerwakis and Optenhövel Live, this interaction tool is used to get a feel for what viewers think. The results are either incorporated by a moderator. If a specific question is asked, it flows into the show. If necessary, even guests of the show are confronted with it directly, as we saw in the video with Björn. The results can also be communicated via inserts on the TV screen. The next interaction type is the survey interaction type. It's a very simple voting tool. Questions are asked and there are different boxes with choices, either with any number of concrete answers or a very simple yes/no decision. This form of interaction can also be a simple opinion poll within a free text field. The results have an impact on the show. For example, here, the Voice of Germany offered challenges to their users, and the users had to choose on which decade the talent should perform their song. For example, 70s, 80s, and so forth. As the results were clear, the majority decision influenced the performances of the show participants. The performances were then published again for voting in the video voting tool, which we saw in the first place. The next interaction tool is the quiz. It is based on the interaction type of the survey. However, the answer is regulated by time. For example, a counter counts down 5 seconds and can be supplemented by video content, and the user sees the result immediately. Within a quiz, you always vote right or wrong, yes or no, thumb up, thumb down. As in the example shown with Yoko, the user has the feeling of competing directly against the moderator while using this interaction type. The further development of the quiz includes the selection of images, not only type, and the input of guess answers in a free text field. Battle voting is also similar to the service interaction, but it is much more important for the storytelling of a TV show. Maybe the images are loading still. Votes are also time limited and are always live. So that is the difference, and they have a direct impact on the format. As you can see here now, the battle voting from the Voice and the Masked Singer, for example. Here the question was, which mask should pass into the next round? With this type of interaction, there is always a very high level of viewer participation. This may be because battle voting has the highest impact to the TV shows and is also advertised most massively throughout the shows. Let's take a quick look at the format integration, meaning how TV shows are represented in the product. First example is The Voice of Germany, which is a German TV casting show where the best singer is chosen from a group of contestants. Here you can see on the next chart how interactions look like, TV inserts in the TV screen, call to participate. We have a survey interaction, a video voting, a result screen, who performed best in the down low bottom of the chart. The second example is GNTM, which is a German reality format casting show hosted by Heidi Klum. In the example, you can see the intro from the Personality Award, which I mentioned, given only through the app-only content. The survey example, would you apply to GNTM? do fans like to deal with between shows and video voting? You can see that on the right side. So as you can see overall, every format is created individually, and the integration is a form of asset management. Format-specific image material is provided to us together with colors and the logo of the shows. They will be visually fitted into the framework of the app and uploaded into the middleware. Let's have a more closer look on features and assets. The first part is the visual language of the interface. The visual design language of the product builds on the circle, as you can see the shape principles in the left side, the pill and dial with round corners. The aesthetics are flat. A three-part iconography is deliberately used. We have basic icons in outline styles. You can see that in the upper right side. Emojis try to convey and create a social media feel, and 3D icons are used that create a visual highlight through their plasticity. Font elements are also displayed in a plastic way, as you can see on the right side in the netiquette video. The tiling system can be used in an orderly fashion in a specific colors of a format, or playfully as decorative elements, such as in the digital trailer. You can see below the shape principles, or the App Store screens on the right side. The basic climate is black, white, and gray. Only the content and TV formats visuals along bring life to this product through their own colorfulness. In the branding, however, the principle is expressed by the colorful gradient in the Join Me logo, upper right side. Let's have a closer look on the content types we use in this product. Here we show you an overview of all possible content teasers, some of which are still planned. The most important teasers are the, of course, interaction teasers, which consist of a monochrome tile with text. They are the customized version of them is available in different versions to display the content dynamically. You can see the interaction teaser L in the left side and S in the upper side, which have an image integrated in the tile, or with a text image combination and copy text on the left side, which is an L teaser. Further developments of content formats include the following examples. We have down low, you see the shows from creators, hence user-generated content. We have live stream teasers that show featured creators. Those creators which are chosen by ProSieben and the company. Then we have featured categories and community topics clustered, which are clustering thematic areas in a visual appealing fashion. In addition, you can see on the right side, challenges and contests will be offered in the future, in which you can participate and compete against other users. So much for the content types. I have brought to you here a figure that shows an example of a content plan structure for 1 week. The example of GNTM, Germany's Next Top Model, shows how the tension for the broadcast of a format on Thursday increases and is fueled by content. And after the show, the aim is to maintain interactivity via follow-up content. Gaps are filled with other content formats, and due to background noise, there should always be something to see and to do in the app. The next feature is a newer version, is a new function that is called live streaming. Is intended to contribute to community building. It is used to build a social entertainment community that is consolidated through live streaming, which presents own or format-specific content. In principle, every viewer can become an entertainer or creator, as we say. For example, a user can stream to GNTM via tags and then go live. Anyone interested can join and contribute. There are also mentioned featured creators. Currently more than over 100 are streamers who have been chosen by ProSieben as brand ambassadors. With their own profile picture, these format influencers stream within the community and can then also network with other users and be integrated into other streams via picture-in-picture, as you can see on the right side. So let's round it up with the process of experience design. Finally, we would like to illustrate this process of product development and experience design. The next chart. Many stakeholders contribute to such a successful product. In addition to the typical product design, which involves strategy, information architecture, usability and interaction engineering, visual and interface design, asset management, product analytics, and continuous user testing, the following departments are also responsible for the whole product experience. There is, in the upper side is content, who constantly have to come up with interesting content ideas and also manage it to create interesting interactive storytelling. We have marketing. Marketing helps us in branding the product and market it on various platforms. This includes not only 7.One in-house marketing department, but also external agencies, for example, customer relation management. And of course, we have internal and external developers for the technical feasibility of the product and the integration of different platforms for the SDKs, the middleware, etc. We had internal developers of the Dave team, as well as external support by Endava. The development was in parts facilitated by our own design system, Rubik, which allows to implement and scale new modules and features very efficiently. Here's Florian, the main system developer and expert. This overview shows that a successful and innovative interaction ecosystem is not a trivial undertaking. Many internal and external stakeholders were and are involved. A lot of internal politics had to be done, especially by our Vice President Björn Sorge, to make this result happen. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all contributors from the experience design team and the whole 7.One Entertainment Group. In such a spirit, it must now continue to create the entertainment of future. We can see now that the last chart, Florian. And of course, thank you very much to all viewers participating today. You're very welcome to ask your questions now. Florian and I will try to answer them as best as we can. Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot, Nick and Florian. It's a super detailed presentation, and everybody out there who have additional questions, follow-ups, please post them to the chat, or if you're here on Zoom, just raise your hand and join the conversation. Well, thanks a lot again for this. I'm wondering, just a few basics, how long has this product been on the market?
It started, it's hard to remember actually. I think the app is now live as Join Me for 3 months now. And before that, we started first test cases with our ProSieben app and also like in smaller app contexts. So we started with smaller tech and integrated test cases, and then we launched it basically as this overall app that just Nick showed. And the overall development process is also quite hard to define because it also started in smaller lighthouse projects earlier before we consolidated into a bigger project. And I think this was a bit over a year ago.
Yeah, I can affirm that because we started last year. The first project and the first TV format was GNTM. We started in February, 1 year ago. Now in February is coming the next season of GNTM. So it's about roughly with the app only 1 year ago.
So it's a relatively new product and a new suit. So you're probably still learning on the go, or you're really rolling out learning. And one more basic question. This is a system that caters to live shows, right?
Yes and no. So both of them. I mean, on one hand, we have the live experience. So the best case for the interactions that we see with the highest impact is always when a interaction has a direct impact on a show. For example, like Nick showed, you have a voting, there are candidates in a show, and then traditionally you would ask the users, hey, please call us, who's your favorite candidate, here, pay 50 cents, and then you call them, and then you show the results on live TV. And this is how it has been done in the past, and other TV companies also do it, which is super annoying because you're losing a lot of time in the show, because you have to read out all these numbers again and again and again, and then you're losing time, and also the show becomes way more boring. So when you get something like this into an app, it's better for the show, and it's also better for the users. So this is the one part, together combined with live TV. And there are also other cases like quizzes or like this personality voting, or we also try to craft more integrated interactions in the shows, but this is a slow process because you also have to tailor the shows towards these interactions, which is not so easy. Yeah. But also afterwards, we try to aim to have follow-ups, because you have like these peaks, and then we try to provide content. You can also share some examples like live streaming afterwards.
Yeah, like you have seen in the content plan with the peak and the downfall for the show. Yeah.
And now about where the project came from. I'm wondering what triggered the product. You said, Florian, that it was a little bit like a story, ongoing story, but I'm wondering if it's something that the company pushed, is it something the UX department pushed, or is it actually something that came out from users and user feedbacks, or maybe wishes? So what was the spark for this product?
I think it's a combination out of everything. It kind of developed into this direction. I mean, there was a project that Björn pushed earlier from that, which was the Fan Worlds project, which was super successful in the company, where they aim to create these hubs of fans for different TV shows. And then it was the question of how these users there could interact more with the show. So there were these first ideas of interactions, like first votings, but mainly offline, then some votings that also, like Masked Singer was one of the first shows where they took the telephone voting inside the app so that you didn't have to call. And from there, various people had ideas how to continue that development, and then kind of went into this direction of this whole project here.
So it was more like an organic development, but yes. It sounds also like a lot of discussions, back and forth, hesitations, maybe fears, because it's something that really turned the industry and the company upside down.
Exactly.
On the modus operandi. So can you enlighten us, without going into details, about a little bit of this story? How was this challenge of bringing people on the ship, on the train, and along with you, who was maybe a little bit about the politics? How did you get this kind of story going in a large company? And you also said there were people involved who aren't really digital natives, then there is marketing, then there is company boards, people from different backgrounds and different professional careers. How did you convince them? And was there maybe something where the penny dropped and you said, wow, that was it? And somebody started to push it and gave you a green light? What was the story?
Unfortunately, we don't have Björn and Tish Schneider here, not in the show, because they were the main ones who got rid of the political stuff, but I try to sum it up a bit. I mean, it was mainly about gaining trust with the TV producers. Because this TV company consists out of multiple different departments. Like every show has their own producers, then you have head of channels. And as well, it was always super important to deliver on point for these shows. So if you say, hey, by the way, we want to take away the telephone voting, put it in there, or create a game for it. These shows are sometimes pre-produced when it's not live, and then if it's not there and it's not working, then you got a problem, because then you gotta go back to fallbacks and also security and stuff. So yeah, in regards to politics, yeah, Nick?
Yeah. So totally, I just wanted to sum it up that that Dan was the driving force behind all that, and as Florian said, it is and was important, of course, to build up the trust to the TV people, as we say, TV people and experienced people. And if the product would not work, we all had a problem. The whole broadcasting company would have a problem. So that was the main thing. And as we went to the whole product development, we proved them that this is working and this is much better and the future of entertainment and the TV shows after all.
So you proved, and the question would be, how did you prove? And also, I think that is a good moment to bring in Veronica, who posted, how about if we dive into the user perspective? Because I think, you know, TV historically is a one-way show, and it's top-down, right? There is a big company, there is producers in between with their goals, there is the stars, etc., but they're sending, and now you're interacting. So how did users react, and how is the relationship now changing? Because it's also like cultural shift for Sat.1 entertainment, right? Can you enlighten us a little bit more about how did the relationship with viewers change, and how are you managing this as a company and as a team?
Nick, do you want to go, or should I?
You can start, maybe.
Okay.
I have to just think about the question a bit, because it is not quite trivial.
Then I'll start a bit. I mean, as I see it from a top-down perspective, since I'm not too involved in this also political shift and user shift, this is a longer process where the company got to evolve to. I mean, currently we are pushing these interactions into certain formats, and you have some formats where it works quite well. And some formats where we already can shift the narrative a bit, like for example with Zervakis versus Zervakis and Oppenduvel Live, this new show where users can put in comments and the moderators shift the show around the comments and surveys and integrate it deeply into the show. This is super interesting, and there you also get this new development that it's not linear anymore, it's reactive based on the users. And now one of the next steps would be to go in and develop shows specifically for this. And this is something that we might want to see, or that we will see in the future.
Yes, and we are constantly monitoring, of course, the user interactions through continuous user testing. We have seen some pain points, and we have seen some successes, of course, but the formula is very simple. If the interaction has the most impact, visual impact and contextual impact on the TV show, the more successful it is. That is a very basic, simple formula, which we try to enhance and try to integrate into our whole product understanding in the future, now and in the future.
So this is about evaluating the interactions quantitatively at the moment, right?
Yes, and also direct user feedback.
Yes, and qualitatively as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be my follow-up question. How did you get user feedback besides data, besides evaluating? Because this can also shift from topic to topic. Raw data itself probably won't tell you the whole story. So qualitative feedback is very often very enlightening and important.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have Miriam Thelen, which is a very talented young researcher in our team, who is forcing the continuous user testing. Every month we pick 4 or 6 users from different with different stats, age and digital affinity and stuff like that, and we question them. How do they find specific tasks within the app, or just to give us random feedback on the product? And mostly, of course, the basic sound is that the app, speaking from the app, is very designful, is very nice, is very very transparent and very easy to use. But on the part of the live streaming, for example, there are many constraints, and people do not know yet how to interact and how to use this feature. But in the future, it is planned that we are more forcing the live streaming part to build the community and connect people and users all together within a big entertainment community, of course.
What's also super interesting here is in regards to user testing, because normally you have like user tests scheduled to a certain date and a certain time. But since we are integrating interactions into shows, we also do like tests when a show is live. So I think the last test we did it was for The Voice of Germany, where we had a user test scheduled together with the shows. So we had to get multiple interviewers because all of these tests had to happen at the same time. Then users were sitting in front of the TV, had the app in their hand, and then had like this combined experience. And this also was something that that was new for me.
So during the live show, you had users interact with the app, and you had test users and the company together with design researchers who were interacting exactly. As well, and then giving you direct feedback on it.
Yes,
that's great.
To further develop the product and the interactions. Yeah.
Is this direction that is consciously being taken by the company in the sense of we want to engage a certain user group or age, a target group, and we know that they're digitally native, that they're using mobile, that the attention span is getting shorter, and we need to create more emotion through interaction and create a community in the end? This is what you're also working on. So is this a certain user group that you're focusing at, certain age group, anything of that kind? Or is it very open?
Normally it's very open, but the main target people are younger, and maybe let's say until 40 or so, from the young digital natives using also social media to the viewers. Yeah, you cannot say that particularly because also elder viewers also use that, and we have some examples of that as well. But normally it is the younger range of people.
Also, one thing that you mentioned in regards to attention span is quite interesting, because how do you watch TV? Usually you're on your couch and then you get your smartphone in your hand and browsing social media. And this is also the moment that we want to use. I mean, you already got your smartphone, you already are watching TV. And this is the moment where we want to come in with interactions to focus the attention a bit more on the format, provide additional background information, provide additional things that you can do together with the show if the user is using a smartphone anyway already.
And this probably, if you just continue thinking about development, is really going into creating a kind of moderated community. So you need new roles, different roles in the company. This is about content moderation. This is also about community moderation and completely new abilities. And then it's also a kind of clash of cultures a little bit and backgrounds. When you say tech-savvy editors, but not really digitally native people working there on a daily basis, and you try to bring in this very agile, interactive, short-lived and fast-changing environment. So what are the challenges in this situation now, and how do you solve them?
I mean, you just described it perfectly what we were facing in the last months. Like this is like the main issue where you have a clash of cultures. I mean, you have, for example, traditional editors who are creators who are focusing on TV shows. Then you gotta check, hey, how are interactions actually being created based on these shows? I mean, also in regards to wordings, what you're doing on a digital device is a completely different communication as you would do on TV or by thinking about a show. But on the other hand, you also got the UX designers who help these more traditional people, which probably don't understand the world of TV too much. So we had some. For example, Alex is a colleague of ours who is a UX designer, and he's super deep into the TV shows themselves. And this is also something that you gotta learn and how to work together with these people.
Also, as you said, Ake, very correctly, and that the roles are shifting, and we are facing that now. And we, as UX designers, saw that already, that we're not only responsible for the interface, but also of the asset management and the asset creation of the content. And so the roles were very fuzzy at the end of the product.
So this sounds like it's still an open story, how this will be sorted out, talking about methods, new protocols, new roles, definitions of hierarchies, or maybe less hierarchy, which would also be good, probably. I'm wondering, in all of this process, did you have a sense that the role of design, the perception of design in the company changed? And there was more attention to your work and also more attention to as you said, this is not only about UIs and shapes and colors. This is actually about content, about strategy, about development, and about helping us to understand whether the way, the direction we're taking is right or wrong. And above all, to propose solutions, how to improve it. So this is a little bit like a generation, a cultural change in a company, but also a change of the role of design, which we are observing all around, from designing to consulting, from user interfaces to strategy.
I mean, for example, in regards to the TV colleagues, I think there was one of the biggest shifts in the UX department in the last 2 to 3 years. Grew exponentially. And in regards to the TV colleagues, you saw how the department itself gained more and more trust from them to hand over more and more responsibility from doing basically nothing in telephone votings to shifting slowly over to interactions, and maybe in the future creating complete formats based on the stuff. But also like the not only on the TV side, but also from a kind of tech-driven company on the other on the other side. How we see someone, they have a very strong tech department. You also see that design becomes more and more relevant, not only based on this app, but and also on the work of the overall UX department.
That's true, and I can say maybe as last word something like that. The importance of the project was there at the beginning in the CEO level, on the management level, but the task will now be for the future that it stays important, and that is what we are working on.
Any clues, any tips to our community how to keep it important on a C level? At least in your use case, you can generalize, of course.
Normally, it's easy when you have a vice president like Björn Sorge, who is very stubborn and tries to fight every fight and to achieve and has a vision. That is the most important thing, to have a vision and fight for it and never let loose.
So to articulate where are we going and why, and try to motivate people to see the gains, to see also the fun of it in the end.
Yeah, visibility. Yes. It's all about visibility. Like showing
and
what...
Yeah.
No, you go.
No, and then try not only to motivate, but also sometimes to decide and to convince people just through doing things. Even though was not allowed, we do things, show them, gain trust, and go further.
Yeah, and sometimes at the beginning of projects like this, lower visibility is better. To not have like some bricks in your way which you gotta walk over, and later on, after you get your first successes, then you can scale in visibility and show off what you've created.
Yes, so to develop in a small scale, evaluate, get the arguments, some results, something that shows, and then try to scale it in terms of also visibility in the company.
Exactly.
Very good. So looking back at this extremely intensive development phase, and when you both reflect on your both roles, was there like a moment where you said, well, that's the aha moment, that's where I was so surprised about what happened and also so proud? What was it?
Nick, you gotta go first.
The moment I was proud is that in the first moment we launched this product, and we saw that a lot of people were using it and voting and were engaging in that product. That was a very proud moment of us all. And also the implementation of the Qyll video, which was very much fun playing it ourselves. To see the potential of the product, that is what makes me proud in person, and hopefully the whole team.
I think to give some quick context to the Qyll video, like for non-Germans here, like Qyll is one of the biggest German influencers from the TV, and there was a quiz where you could play against him. It was not live, but it was filmed in one take. So we took this guy, put him in front of a camera, asked him questions, and he had to answer these in the best way possible, and it was kind of funny. And then you as a user were able to play against him. And this was one interaction that was not connected to a live show, but used as a to keep the user entertained afterwards as a follow-up to the show, which was quite successful.
So when you take a look even further, I mean, you're starting to scratch on the surface of linear TV and changing it up to down and opening it up most of all, but it's still just a beginning. It's quite a new suite, a new product. So if you look into the future, what would you like to see developed further in terms of interaction between TV and live viewers? Just if you let your mind wander around, what would be next?
So for me, it would be, as mentioned, a show that is not linear anymore, where you're watching something that is on your TV. It's this moment that happens at a certain start time. I mean, this is like the main differentiator between traditional TV and streaming, that you start at 8:15, the show is live, everyone is gathered in front of the TV, and then you have like a live show experience, which will change over the course of the show, depending of what users think, what users vote, what users interact in some kind of game, way, quiz, whatever. And this would be the next level experience, in my opinion.
And I would say I'd like to see it standardized, that linear TV is always has always the potential and possibility of being interactive as well. That nobody would think, how can I interact with a TV show, but it just has the possibility to do so. So the standardization of interactivity TV would be a very nice thing to see in the future.
And standardization in what sense? Can you explain a little bit further?
In sense that it is a standard to that you have the possibility to interact with news, with TV shows, with any kind of content you see on the TV.
Right, so a rollout into the mainstream.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Biggest challenges for that? Keep politics out.
Yeah, well, is the main thing, the acceptance of the companies, not only ProSieben, maybe other TV broadcasters as well, and the sense of those people responsible in the management positions, that users want to have the power of interactivity in
the voice for
life,
themselves.
Yeah, in everyday life, of course, and in TV as well.
Which is about letting loose of control and a little bit stepping into the back and being maybe a bit more democratic, or really democratic in the end, which would not only help linear TV, it would also help other media. It would definitely help politics. So this could be something which is connected to other interaction platforms. And they speak to a gigantic audience, right? Last question: do you see differences of older people? Do you see as hesitation to take up this kind of interaction, or on the opposite even?
Yeah, I mean, it's like with all the digital apps and interactions and so on that you got. I mean, the older your target group, the more difficult it gets. I think it's quite easy to sum it up that way. It's just this general line of thinking that you have with different target groups. As older as they are, the more difficult it gets. And the lower the acceptance is as well.
Yeah, that counts for the mass, but exceptions are there, of course, with older people. Yeah.
About winning an award, did it make an impact in your company, your team, and maybe for the product itself too?
It's now on every PowerPoint slide.
Very good. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what the whole team at the UX Design Awards would love to know, and we'll let them know right away. And this is exactly why we do this. So Nick and Florian, thank you so much for this talk and the presentation. It was fabulous to talk with you and to see a bit more on the inside of the product. Thank you very much for being here and sharing.
Thank you for having us.
And good luck for the continuation of this and the next project as well. So thanks to everyone for joining and for watching us tonight. If you missed anything, the recording of the talk will be on LinkedIn right away and on YouTube and our website in a few days. And we'll also ask Nick and Florian to share the presentation with us. So we'll put them up on the website. So if you're interested in more, just join us again soon for our upcoming events. As I said, it's monthly, so stay tuned. Stay also tuned as we announce the nominees of the upcoming UX Design Awards Spring 23 season. So we will let you know who was nominated on January the 23rd. So stay connected with us. Have a great morning, day, or evening, wherever you are at the moment, and hopefully see you very soon again. Bye-bye.